Good afternoon. Please be seated. As Provost of Central European University, it is my privilege to convene the 2017-2018 academic year opening ceremony. Before anything else, I would like to address a very warm welcome to the new class of students starting their journey at CEU these days. Dear incoming students, we wish you much success with your personal plans during your stay at CEU, and also that you make your own contributions to this tightly knit academic community which proudly welcomes you today as full members. I would also like to welcome and acknowledge our continuing students, members of the faculty, and the administrative staff. We are also joined by a number of distinguished guests, friends and supporters of the university from Hungary and from abroad. A most cordial welcome to all of you, and thank you for being here with us. We celebrate today the 27th academic year opening in the history of CEU. The period since the establishment of the university in 1991 has been one of extraordinary work, achievements, and occasional difficulties. As we begin the current academic year, we are facing new, even unprecedented challenges. We start this year with some worries, but at the same time with a renewed sense of determination to pursue our work as a university and our distinguished mission. We start with a strong sense of confidence that we will succeed in these endeavors. Honored guests, dear colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, our ceremony begins with opening remarks by the person who strongly, proudly, and with a great sense of dignity holds the helm of our institution during these somewhat special times, our President and Rector, Michael Ignatieff. Professor Ignatieff, please.
It's wonderful to see you all today. I want to welcome, first of all, the ambassadors and representatives of their countries. Thank them for being here. I want to thank the distinguished rectors and representatives of Hungarian universities. One of the rectors is wearing his full uniform and leaves me feeling a little undressed, but I'm delighted you're here in full regalia. I want to welcome our hardworking faculty back from their summers at research. I want to thank our dedicated staff who keep this whole show going. I want to thank our returning students, but most of all, I want to greet the incoming class of Masters and Doctoral students. There's 769 of you, and you come from, get this, 93 countries. And we hope that CEU will be a transformative experience for you. And I want to join what my provost said and say, welcome you to this community. For we are a community, and we've been brought together as never before by our defense of academic freedom. And let me thank the entire community for standing together during what I like to call, with British understatement, our little local difficulty. As many of you know, New York State, where we're accredited, and the government of Hungary are negotiating an agreement that would enable us to stay in Budapest, where we belong. These negotiations continue, but we remain hopeful that an agreement can be reached and ratified by the Hungarian parliament. This experience, still ongoing, still unresolved, but hopefully soon behind us, has changed everyone at CEU, and we've rediscovered through the fire of a trial why free institutions matter and why our open society mission is so important. We're the only university with this mission, and we need to be clear about what it means. It's worth saying once again, loud and clear, we're not a political organization. We're not an opposition movement. We're not an NGO. We're not a campaigning group. What we actually are is a university. And what is a university? A university is a free, self-governing institution, independent of government, independent of those who finance us. It's a community of scholars and students whose task is to search for truth and to add to the world's precious stock of knowledge. And then what is knowledge? It's the unbroken strand of understanding that human beings have woven together over millennia through experimentation, research, and experience, in which they pass from one generation to the next. And our mission as a university, it's a mission we share with the representatives of universities in this room. Our mission is to weave our tiny strand of knowledge into this great and unbroken skein of understanding that we share with all mankind and pass it on unbroken to our children. Now, there's no single vision of what an open society is, because that would violate the principle of openness itself. And the debate about what an open society is ongoing, endless, and properly unresolved. But all visions of an open society share one critical component, and that's a belief in what I would call the epistemology of freedom. The idea that the very conception that the ideas we need most in a society are those that arise from critical debate, and in that debate, we need to have the courage to discard those ideas when they fail the test of reality. A university lives by this epistemology of freedom. But the goals, the purpose of a university is ultimately ethical. We're the institutions, and we share this with all our colleagues in the Hungarian educational system and all our colleagues in European universities. We're institutions whose essential purpose is to create free people, responsible, prudent, moral human beings who do their best to care for their families, care for their nation, and care for each other. And an open society is a society of such men and women. These are skeptical but passionate citizens, and they know something important. They know the distinction between knowledge and opinion, between fact and rumor, between a tweet and a research finding, between passion and sound judgment. Grasping these distinctions is hard, but it's the work of a university every day. That's what we do. We teach you as students and faculty to make these distinctions. And so to subject all ideological claims, liberal and conservative alike, to critical scrutiny. This is our mission. And we hope as students that you will feel this mission at work in our classrooms. Now, as everybody knows, we're an institution under constant scrutiny and external pressure. But that can't prevent us from being critical of ourselves at all times. We need to re-examine our mission every day. We need to question whether we're measuring up. You will see in passing, if you're new students here, that we run a presidential lecture series called Rethinking Open Society. I hope you'll join us for these talks. Form your own opinion about what open society means. The first one of these talks happens to be on Monday, and guess who's giving it? Yours truly. So I hope you'll come. I hope you'll argue. I hope you'll disagree. I hope you'll send me emails telling me I got everything wrong. In a moment, you're going to hear a poem by one of the greatest spirits of our region and of our world, Czesław Miłosz, who's the Polish Nobel laureate in literature. And in it, you will hear these wonderful words: human reason guides our hand, so we write truth and justice with capital letters, lie and oppression with small ones. You're also going to hear a wonderful song by Kodai, sung by a Hungarian artist. And their inclusion in this program is a way of saying that poetry, art, literature, music teach us our mission every day. We're going to have a good year together. I can feel it. We're going to argue. We're going to debate. The library will be full. And at the end of the year, your heads will be full to bursting with the pressure of new ideas. And you will come out of this changed, as we are changed by what we do with you. So let's begin the year proud of who we are. We're a community of men and women who love knowledge, learning, literature, and art, and who believe that when we work together, we can help each other on the arduous journey that is never over for any of us, the struggle to become free men and women.
Thank you, Michael. And now, two CEU students will address our gathering. First, a continuing student, following by an incoming student. Please welcome Victor Kozai, who is a second-year SJD student at the Department of Legal Studies. Victor earned a JD degree from Eötvös Loránd University here in Budapest in 2014. He received an MA degree from the Université de Panthéon-Assas Paris II and an LLM degree in comparative constitutional law from CEU in 2015. Before starting his doctoral studies at CEU, Victor worked in the field of human rights protection. His main area of research is the constitutional requirements of the parliamentary legislative process. His doctoral supervisor is Professor Renata Uitz. Victor, please come forward.
Dear citizens of the university, thank you very much for this honor and the opportunity to speak at the opening ceremony. And congratulations to the incoming students on their admission to CEU. With your admission, you earned your CEU citizenship. This citizenship comes with many rights and privileges, such as the opportunity to learn from some of the most distinguished scholars of the world, the chance to develop your critical thinking, and also the very generous printing quota, just to mention a few examples. However, every citizenship entails duties as well. Now, don't you worry, you do not have to pay taxes or do military service. But there is one duty that every citizen of this university takes very seriously, as you could hear from our president and rector, the duty to pursue your academic and professional goals with full cognizance of the social responsibilities which come with your privilege of being a person of intellect. We have to be aware of the fact that academia does not exist in a social vacuum. It is an integral part of the society, and it needs the support of the rest of the society to survive and flourish. We are living in a time when the value of faith in the human intellect, trust in common sense, and reliance on truth is dropping fast. Manipulation, appeal to the fears and disappointments of the people, aggressive rhetoric, and oversimplified slogans gain popularity instead again. And yes, again, because this phenomenon is not unprecedented or new, on the contrary, it is periodic. And the fact that it is happening again means that we may study history, but we still refuse to learn from it. One of the most eloquent warnings of the fragility and vulnerability of the field of academia can be found in the famous novel of Hermann Hesse, The Glass Bead Game. Hesse tells the story of a fictional province, Castalia, the home of an austere order of intellectuals who dedicated their lives to playing the glass bead game, an abstract synthesis of all arts and sciences. Now, the problem was that only the inhabitants of Castalia understand the rule of the game, and only they can appreciate the results of such intellectual pursuits. But Joseph Knecht, the intellectual leader of this fictional land, comes to the realization in the end that if the people of Castalia remain oblivious to the problems posed by life outside of its borders, then the days of Castalia are numbered. So, dear newly admitted fellow citizens of CEU, I ask you to pursue your academic and professional goals with this warning in your mind. I wish you a very pleasant and productive academic year. Enjoy your stay in Budapest, and remember that the most important characteristics of a good thesis are that it's written down and submitted in due time. So, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Victor. Our next speaker, Al-Hakam Shar, is starting the one-year master program in sociology and social anthropology. He is also a Holbrooke Fellow in the Aleppo project of the CEU Shattuck Center on Conflict, Negotiation and Recovery. His goal this year is to learn novel ways of reflecting the experiences and the aspirations of war-torn communities, particularly his home city of Aleppo in Syria. Al-Hakam, please come forward.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, each of us incoming students brings our own unique experience to this institution. Let me tell you about mine. For the last 3 years, I have been Holbrooke Fellow at the School of Public Policy's Shattuck Center, researching my home city of Aleppo, the devastation its people have been through during war and displacement, and their struggle to return and rebuild their homes. When I arrived here in 2015, I had seen heated debates among Syrians, including friends and family, about getting to safety in Europe. Which countries guarantee my rights to asylum? Which countries have fair procedures to reunite me with my family? But also, where could my rights and dignity be violated, and how can I avoid that? I had thought these were mainly intra-Syrian and other war-torn citizens' debates, but I was surprised to see that these were some of the most serious questions that researchers at CEU too were asking. When thousands of refugees found themselves stranded in difficult conditions at Budapest train stations in the summer of 2015, CEU responded. Every day, members of CEU, as part of the wider Budapest community and the Hungarian community, volunteered at the Keleti, Déli, Nyugati stations to help those refugees with basic needs, from baby diapers to phone charging, but to also engage with them in basic human communication. This is the strong community I am about to join as a student with my fellow colleagues. CEU now offers more scholarships to Syrians and others from other disadvantaged students. Through projects, events, it has given them a voice and opportunity. Unfortunately, it is such sense of responsibility and academic autonomy that brought the university under pressure. And it is for this that we must defend it. As part of my research on Aleppo, I asked residents about displacement, return, and the rebuilding of their lives and communities back home. But what about those who want only partial return, or those whose best bet is to start a new life in their host countries? How are they rebuilding their lives? As an institution that is independent, bold, and in touch with the real problems of the world, CEU, with its Department of Sociology and Social Anthropology, couldn't be a better home for my proposed research on the emerging Syrian communities in European cities. I will be looking at the Berlin example. I am grateful to outgoing and current members of the School of Public Policy, the Department of Sociology and Social Anthropology, the university administration, and the whole CEU community. And I look forward to meeting fellow students and engaging with them in debates, research work, and other fun activities. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Al-Hakam. It is now my great pleasure to introduce Professor Dorit Geva, representing the CEU faculty. Professor Geva is the head of the Department of Sociology and Social Anthropology. It just happened they come from the same department. She is a political sociologist who trained at the New York University. After teaching social theory within the University of Chicago's core curriculum, she joined the CEU faculty in 2011. She has just returned from France, where she was for a year Urias Fellow studying the gender politics of the French radical right. Professor Dorit Geva.
Thank you, Liviu, for your kind introduction, and also thanks to our student speakers whose words I found quite inspiring and I hope will continue to inspire us throughout the year. I have to also apologize for a cough which will probably accompany me a little bit in the next few minutes. So my role here is to welcome you as representative of the CEU faculty and to try and share a few pearls of wisdom for successfully navigating your time at CEU. We are, of course, entering a year where we don't know what's coming. And I don't just mean about the university. We don't quite comprehend if the world order is changing. And maybe it is. What then is the role of the university, the intellectual, the researcher, the civil society actor, the policymaker, the business person, the administrator, the professor, and the student at this historical moment? These are big questions at a moment of change. But as a faculty member at CEU, let me try and share some certainties with you. The CEU, as you probably already know, but are seeing for yourselves now in person, is a truly exceptional institution. It's important to remember the founding mission of the university, which is to foster autonomous thought, which is at once politically and socially engaged, and at the same time detached from state ideological projects. We will not let that change. We are a global university dedicated to opening intellectual borders, disciplinary borders, opening minds, and opening societies. As I've learned from my own students, and I continue to learn every year in the classroom, never make assumptions about who is sitting next to you, for example, at this very moment. Don't assume their nationality, race, gender, sexuality, linguistic group, ethnicity, or that any of those details tell you something essentialist about who that person is and what they think. Being true to the principle of openness is one of our great virtues. And that, too, will not change. We are dedicated to academic excellence and rigorous debate. That means, for our incoming students, that your time at CEU won't always be easy. You won't always get perfect marks, your assumptions will be questioned, and your arguments will be challenged by us, your teachers, and also your fellow students. I, as a teacher and researcher, am challenged all the time, as are the rest of the faculty right here. Challenge is good, and this too will not change. And finally, the goal of your time at CEU is not to achieve a determinate answer in your chosen area of study. It's never about having the last word. Most of you will write a thesis, and those theses should conclude by opening questions for yourselves and the rest of us. 10 months from now for some of you, 2 years from now for others, and several years down the line for those of you doing PhDs, you will reach the conclusion of your thesis. It'll come much faster than you might imagine at this moment. Although frequently left to the last minute, the often misunderstood conclusion is in fact one of the most important parts of a thesis. The conclusion isn't just a reiteration of facts, arguments, or answers. Rather, its role is to show how your project leads to new questions. The conclusion is an opening. So remember, it's not about closure or having the last word. It's about openings. And this too will not change. In the spirit of these remarks, I'll therefore conclude with a few questions. Which assumptions will you let go of? Which assumptions will you force others to reckon with? And whose minds will you seek to open? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dorit. We continue our program with a poem and a musical piece already announced by our rector. Incantation, a poem by Czesław Milosz, will be recited by Eszter Onodi, and Ocsitári hegyek alatt, a Hungarian folk song transcribed for piano by Zoltán Kodály, will be performed by Lidia Sluka, a vocal artist and soprano, and Agnes Arato on piano.
Incantation by Czesław Milosz. Human reason is beautiful and invincible. No bars, no barbed wire, no pulping of books, no sentence of banishment can prevail against it. It establishes the universal ideas in language and guides our hand, so we write truth and justice with capital letters, lie and oppression with small. It puts what should be above things as they are, is an enemy of despair and a friend of hope. It doesn't know Jew from Greek or slave from master, giving us the estate of the world to manage. It saves austere and transparent phrases from the filthy discord of tortured words. It says that everything is new under the sun, opens the congealed fist of the past. Beautiful and very young are philosophia and poetry, her ally in the service of the good. As late as yesterday, nature celebrated their birth. The news was brought to the mountains by a unicorn and an echo. Their friendship will be glorious. Their time has no limit. Their enemies have delivered themselves to destruction.
Thank you very much for this wonderful moment. CEU is a mission-driven university. Our Open Society mission helps define the profile of the university and distinguish CEU as a higher education institution. CEU is, in more than one way, different from other universities, and we programmatically cultivate these differences. The main tools for pursuing our mission, however, are not fundamentally different from those of any other university. They are teaching and learning and research. At CEU, all faculty members and students engage in research. As a means to emphasize the importance of research and by way of recognizing the exceptional research achievements of our faculty, 4 years ago, the University Senate decided to create a CEU Award for Outstanding Research. It is with very much pleasure that I would like to announce the recipient of the 2017 CEU Award for Outstanding Research, Professor Gabor Klanicai from the Medieval Studies Department. Professor Klanicai is a scholar of outstanding international reputation in late medieval and early modern religious history. In 2016, last year, he received the International Prize of History offered by the International Committee of Historical Sciences. This is the highest recognition that a historian of any period and specialization can achieve from the international community of historians. Of course, I should say the CEU Research Award is of no lesser importance. With the insights of historical anthropology, Professor Klanicai researches what were the historical uses of heresy, sainthood, vision, stigmatics, magic, and witchcraft. His most recent books include Witchcraft Mythologies and Persecutions and Saints of the Christianization Age of Central Europe. Now let's move on to teaching. For only the third time in the history of the university, following a more recent decision of the Senate, we will present a Distinguished Teaching Award to CEU faculty members. This year, there are 2 recipients of the Teaching Award. I will note that, as in many of our endeavors at CEU, the 2 awards this year reflect very well CEU's commitment to promote and develop both the social sciences and the humanities. We are pleased to confer the CEU Distinguished Teaching Award on Associate Professor Tijana Krstic from the Department of Medieval Studies as well. Tijana hails from Subotica, Serbia. At the age of 18, she received an Open Society Foundation scholarship to study at the American University in Bulgaria. She continued her studies in the US, where she obtained a PhD in history at the University of Michigan in 2004. She has been teaching Ottoman history, promoting the study of less commonly taught languages at CEU through the Source Language Teaching Group, and the development of the digital humanities. She is also the recipient of a prestigious European Research Council grant. The selection committee for the award was particularly impressed by Tijana's collaborative approach to teaching, both with her students and with fellow faculty members. They were also impressed by student testimonies about her intellectual command, generous mentoring, and the myriad ways in which she fosters their learning through inquiry, experimentation, and active participation. One of her colleagues, writing in support of her nomination, explained that Tijana is a role model as an instructor, mentor, and supervisor. The second recipient of the 2017 CEU Distinguished Teaching Award is Gabor Kezdi from the Department of Economics and Business. Unfortunately, Professor Kezdi cannot be here with us today to receive the award, but let me say just a few words about the motivation for the award. The selection committee praised Professor Kezdi for his extraordinary dedication to his students' intellectual development and a commitment to teaching that is both rigorous and supportive. The committee members were particularly impressed by student testimonies about how clearly he addresses complex material in his teaching in the area of labor economics, household behavior, health, and poverty, and how generously he supports the students in their individual learning and intellectual growth. And now I will ask Professor Gabor Klanicai and Tijana Krstic to come forward to receive the awards from President and Rector Mikhail Ignatieff. So we start with Gabor. And then Tiana. Congratulations and thank you. I will shortly call upon President Ignatieff once again to present the European Award for Excellence in Teaching in the Social Sciences and Humanities. Before that, please allow me to say a few words about the award and this year's recipients. This is actually the most prestigious teaching award in Europe. It is open to any university teachers in the social sciences and humanities, broadly defined from the almost 50 countries of the European higher education area. There are quite a few European-wide awards for research, but almost none for teaching. CEU's decision to launch this award in 2011 was meant to draw attention to the importance of teaching in general and teaching in the social sciences and humanities in particular. Like our internal teaching award, the European award is meant to acknowledge the fact that the primary justification for the existence of the universities, the main thrust of the work of the academics, is their students and their students' learning. By presenting these teaching awards at the beginning of the academic year, we also want to send a clear message to our incoming students. We are here for you. The recipients of the European Award for Excellence in Teaching in the Social Sciences and Humanities are selected by a prestigious international committee, chaired until this year by Professor Patricia Graham, former Dean of the Graduate School of Education of Harvard and the Doctor Honoris Causa of CEU. The award is supported by a generous endowment gift from Stephen and Linda Diener in memory of Ilona Diener, and it is now known as the Diener Prize. I should say that Stephen Diener and Anton Diener are here with us today. Thank you very much. And because we have the Canadian ambassador, I should also disclose that the endowment of the gift that allowed to endow a European award came from a Canadian. You know, like all good things at CEU, you know, they come from Canada once again. Previous recipients, thank you. Previous recipients were from universities in Ireland, Holland, Germany, and England. This year, there are two recipients. Dr. Petra Oțel is a university professor at Corvinus here in Budapest, and she also serves there as director of the Institute of Behavioral Sciences and Communication Theory. A distinguished teacher and scholar, Dr. Oțel is no stranger to recognition for excellence in teaching. She was elected Corvinus Teacher of the Year in 2012, and in 2015 she was awarded the Kenneth Rice Reward for Excellence in Teaching in recognition of her innovative teaching, including pioneering use of technology. In her courses on political rhetoric, new media communication, and theories of interpersonal communication, students use digital technology, make films, write blogs, conduct debates, and work on real-life cases while focusing on personal, ethical, and social responsibility as well. One of her doctoral students, in nominating Professor Oțel for this award, extolled her as a teacher whose professional commitment and personal dedication make an imprint for a lifetime. The second recipient is a distinguished scholar of German literature, Professor Maurizio Piro. He has been a pioneer in introducing interactive models to university teaching in Italy. As an associate professor at the University of Bari, he has also spearheaded curricular reform in the teaching of German literature. Testimonies from his students tell us of his intellectual passion, commitment to teaching, and dedication to their success. His students even produced a short video, which we are not going to show here, but was submitted to the selection committee to document the impact of his teaching on each of them as students, but also in their postgraduate lives. Congratulations to both recipients, and I would like to call upon Professor Petra Oțel and Maurizio Piro to come forward and receive the awards from President Michael Ignatieff.
Honorable President Rector, Provost, esteemed leaders of CEU, accomplished colleagues, distinguished guests, and dear incoming and continuing students. Among the many sentiments I experience now, happiness, awe, hopefulness, humility, respect for previous co- and future awardees, one feeling stands out: the feeling of gratitude. I'm deeply grateful to the Diener family for dedication to and generous support for excellent academic teaching. I exert my heartfelt gratitude and acclaim to the Center for Teaching and Learning of CEU for their outstanding efforts to serve our profession, and by this, as I believe, our common betterment. I'm humbled and honored to be acknowledged by you. And I'm truly thankful to the Central European University for modeling excellence in academic research and education, and for creating such momentous opportunities to be inspirited and propelled by. But most importantly, I'm grateful to you, dear students. As I see, this award is ultimately created for a future you represent and embody. This award is created for you. You are the ones who allow us to grow, fail, and learn from teaching you. I couldn't be here without my students, those wonderful minds and souls that I'm blessed to meet every day. I'm grateful for the generosity of your stellar wits and diverse talents. Thank you for sharing this moment with me. Some say that teaching is like planting a seed. Others that it is similar to sport games like baseball or basketball. My metaphor for teaching is more simple. As I see, teaching is like salt. As the Hungarian poet Lőrinc Szabó writes, when you put salt into the water, it dissolves, but the taste stays and emerges again. And with Shakespeare's Cordelia, I say, I like teaching how I like a pinch of salt. Life, be it individual or social, academic or other, is tasteless, and the future would be meaningless without it. Having my son, my best friend, my nominator, and all of you with me here in this very salty and very happy moment, I believe that life is fulfilled. This kairos and the memory of it will give me the stamina to go on. Szívből köszönöm. I thank you deep from my heart.
First and foremost, I would like to thank the Central European University for the consideration given to my work as a scholar for such a prestigious award. It is for me not only a great honor, but also an invitation to carry on with my work with an European multicultural perspective. Learning in the humanities is a slow, time-consuming process which requires perseverance to make any progress. Learning in the humanities cannot offer the vertigo of the boundless scenery that opens before the eyes of a climber. It requires, instead, the patient and stubborn gait of the land surveyor, who, as in one of Adalbert Stifter's most memorable novellas, walks extremely long distances every day to map only a small portion of land. Yet, despite their apparent focalization on negligible details, humanities offer to those who cultivate them exceptional tools to read and understand the plurality and complexity of the present. Obviously, for these tools to be effective, it is necessary for this sort of study to avoid any monological specialism and to integrate with other disciplines, welcoming approaches and questions that once arouse suspicions of metaphysicity and that can receive today a decisive impulse from the intersection between different areas of knowledge. Questions like, which cognitive performances are activated and strengthened by literature and the arts? How does an aptitude for fictionality structure and orient the identity of humankind? Why is that literature succeeds in making the world a better place to live in? Thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much, Petra and Maurizio. And now we conclude the opening ceremony for CEU's 27th academic year. On behalf of the university leadership, the faculty, and all our staff, I wish you all an enjoyable and successful academic year. I would like to extend a warm invitation to all students, faculty, and guests to join us at the reception in the lobby of the Nador 13 building. Thank you very much.